A lot of action has taken place off the field in the NFL the last 24 to 48 hours. Some big name QBs, they're staying put or on the move. Today, Wednesday, the Washington Commanders found their quarterback, at least for the 2022 season, acquiring your old buddy, Carson Wentz, from the Indianapolis Colts. And it didn't really do much to change the betting board when it comes to the Commanders in the NFC East for the Super Bowl. I mean, Dallas is still the favorite to win this division. Philadelphia is right there at plus 340, 5-1 for Washington, 9-1 for the New York Giants. We know this division hasn't really had a back-to-back division champ for like 20 years, so Dallas might not be a good bet at the odds-on favorite. You might find better value on Philly, Washington, or New York. Real quickly, though, specifically as it pertains to the Commanders, you have seen a lot of Carson Wentz's career. I know how you feel about him. What are your thoughts on him returning to the NFC East and joining a rival of your Eagles now, the Washington Commanders?
I mean, it's just such a weird 24 hours. You find this out. Carson Wentz is going to the Commanders. Ben Simmons will be sitting on the bench tomorrow for the Philadelphia 76ers. I feel like whenever there's drama, it's always going to be blown out of proportion as well, just because Philly fans are so passionate. Do I think this is going to help the Commanders? I'm not really sure. I mean, Carson Wentz kind of showed what he could do with the Eagles, and then, you know, the Colts was supposed to be this new fresh start. Everybody was excited for him, and clearly that didn't work out, and that ended actually pretty quickly. And then I saw this stat come out that since 2016, the Colts have had 5 different Week 1 starting QBs, tied with Washington and Denver for the most in the NFL. We saw last season with Carson Wentz, he started off a little bit slow, but wasn't terrible in the middle of the season. It was really those 2 last final games against the Raiders and the Jags where he lost both of those games. They didn't make it to the postseason. That was really, I feel like, you know, the nail that went into the coffin there. It was the end of Carson Wentz for the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm not really sure exactly how he's going to fit in with the Commanders, just because I haven't seen anything really positive come out of him. So we'll see what happens. But of course, there's always going to be drama surrounding that. And considering he went to the NFC East, it's just going to be hyped up even more throughout the season.
Yeah, and that division, Erin, as you know, has just been so unimpressive in recent years. And Dallas looks like they may take a step back because Amari Cooper they had to let go. Will they be able to bring back other key players because of salary cap issues? I don't have a lot of faith in Mike McCarthy. Dak Prescott, he came back from his injury but wasn't able to use his legs as much as prior to the injury. So, I mean, like, I'm tempted to throw some money on both the Commanders and the New York Giants, who have a new coach in Brian Dable, just because there's so much turnover year after year in this division, and maybe one of those long shots can come back and or come out of the woodwork and win, because there are some pieces, at least with both of those rosters, that are decent. And I do think Washington has the best head coach in the division with Ron Rivera. So that's why I'm looking at the NFC East. It's been a you-know-what show for the last couple of years, but let's move to the AFC West, which is now the new gold standard for divisions in the National Football League, wresting that away from the NFC West, because Russell Wilson yesterday was traded from the Seattle Seahawks to the Denver Broncos in the AFC West. So you now have Russ, Mahomes, Herbert, and Carr in that division. This move did shake up the betting market. You see how it changed Denver's odds to win the title, to win the conference, and to win that brutally hard division. So I'll ask you here, with this move, how do you handicap Denver's fortunes or their outlook this season, and what do you think of that division, which appears to be loaded on paper?
I mean, this division is just absolutely insane. It's going to be the one I feel like that we're going to talk about the most during the entire offseason, of who do we think is going to be able to step up. A lot of this, I think, will have to do with how teams deal with injuries. We always know something happens, unfortunately, to some of these teams. I think Russ and the Denver Broncos have a great shot, just considering how great their defense is. I already talked about that a little bit. We know what Russ can do. We've seen him in the past, of course, not as of recently, just because the Seahawks didn't set him up to have, you know, the best possible seasons. But I think if you are looking to play them right now, I mean, obviously there is value in the AFC West. If they come out and win a couple of games right off the bat, like the Broncos did last season, then those odds are going to go down. I mean, you still have a tough opponent in Patrick Mahomes. We know how great he can be, but I mean, that division just all around, I can't believe how stacked it is.
Yeah, Erin, this move has actually made the bet to win that division for another team more attractive. Obviously, the Broncos have gotten wildly better because they got a Hall of Famer at the most important position. We just saw Tom Brady in year one go to Tampa Bay, win a Super Bowl. Matt Stafford go to LA, year one, win a Super Bowl. I would not be shocked at all if Russell Wilson goes to Denver year one and wins a Super Bowl because everything else is in place there besides the quarterback. However, when it comes to this division specifically, the price on the LA Chargers has gotten way more attractive by introducing Russell Wilson. Yet the Chargers still have Justin Herbert, and they still have $57 million in salary cap space to spend in free agency. They are the only team in this division that will be operated in 2022 with an all-pro caliber quarterback who is on a rookie contract. That is such an advantage for general managers, and that's what the Chargers have to look at. So the move by Wilson drastically increases the odds of the Broncos becoming better, but it makes me like the pricing on the Chargers better because they maintain Justin Herbert and all that cap space, but now the price has gotten way better because the competition has gotten better in that division. So I'm looking at the Chargers based on the move by Russ Wilson into that division, but you're right. It's loaded. They're going to beat the hell out of each other. All right, one quarterback we thought might go to Denver, but is ultimately going to stay in the spot he has called home for his entire career is Aaron Rodgers. He will be back in Green Bay. That's why Denver pivoted to Russell Wilson, so they made out all right there. But now Rodgers can once again reign supreme in the NFC because it really just looks like the Rams and the Packers, and that's about it in the NFC conference. Brady's gone, Breeze is gone, Wilson is gone. I'm not going to put the Cowboys in that category because they're garbage every year and disappoint. But you see what happened when the news became official. Some slight movement in the market to win the title, to win the conference, and to win the division. I would even think about laying 2-1 there, even though I don't love that price. But a Rodgers injury would certainly derail that. Real quickly, because it's going to be the same as we've seen for the last 17, 18 years. I think Rodgers in Green Bay makes them a legit Super Bowl contender.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.